Debt-Free TV, in association with getoutofdebtfree.org.
And I will proceed with it. So one or two things are very important issues. Federation members, come forward. Where are the Federation members? Where are you?
Hey man, go out the front man, we're ready for you. Hey, babes are here. That's the sort of
Khalif, turn this way, Come on in. Please. Ninja. You special. Thank you for coming. Bring it forward. I'll get to the left.
That's a road for just like it's we're going to go to BBC Island and then take a left and right round the other way.
Anybody picking up at Loxley or on the way down there, harassing the traffic like this, keep it nice and civil, peaceful.
Yeah.
What are you smashing? What do we want? We want Station Street. What do we want? 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 Station Street. We should start us with David. What do we want? Station Street. When do we want it? Wait.
It's okay, he's coming in that lane. More signs that everyone in Nottingham have had as much of the criminal cartel as they can stand. They either start paying attention to what we want or we're getting rid of them. This is to do with the fact they've taken the taxi ranks off Station Street and around the station. So disabled people can't get anywhere. They can't get a taxi from Trent Bridge. Look at the back up already.
One side road and the footpath, you get that? Yeah. One road and one footpath. Inside the
I'd keep both lanes, it'll have more of an impact.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Keep one lane. We want Station Street! What do we want? Station Street! What do we want? Station Street! What do we want? Station Street! What do we want?
You'll have more of an impact if you look at what we're causing.
That's right, slow down, slow down! Nice! What they get material now? Material, legally and What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Right from the council! We want it from the council! Yes! Come on, son, fire away then! What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? Station Street! What do we want? Station Street! Come on, everybody, come on now! What do we want? What do we want? Station Street! What do we want? Station Street!
Why do you want it? Why do you want it? Why do you want it?
For the public, for the customers of Nottingham!
What about the disabled?
Yeah, and the elderly and the disabled people of Nottingham who deserve it! We've been serving them for about 50 odd years! What do we want? Station Street! 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 What do we want? Steve. 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 What do we want?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at this council, if you look at their budget, what they're making on Hackney carriages, every Hackney carriage has a 6 months MOT.
Right, yeah, a license.
A license. And if you go to your local garage, it's the same as what you go to your local garage. If you go to the same as your local garage, your MOT will cost you £39.99. Now, this council is charging us £171.
Sounds like a money-making scam to me.
Yeah, so 411 taxis every 6 months, to 2 MOTs every year. Look at the money they're making.
Listen, can I ask you something? Do you know anything about Uber cabs or Uber cabs? Do you think that's something that obviously this CEO of Nottingham Council would actually be aware of?
Yeah, well, they gave the license to Uber to operate in Nottingham.
Oh, they did they?
Yeah, the council did that. Now, when somebody jumps in my cab, the person says, "Oh, what do you think of Uber, mate?" We'll have a little discussion about it while I'm taking them home, or while I'm taking her home. I say to them, Uber is based in America. They take your card details, they take your credit card details, and your credit card details are based in America, so somebody's got your details.
Okay.
Someone out of the country, which is scary.
Number two, if you're cashing our local taxi, that money that you're going to give to me will be regenerated back into the community of Nottingham. So petrol stations, supermarkets, that money basically goes round in a circle, comes back into the Nottingham community.
Should do. Doesn't it reflect itself in council?
Yeah, where Uber, that money gets generated back into America. So at the end of the day, Uber, they're trying to undercut us, same as in London. The cabbies in London, whenever you go anywhere outside of this country and you talk about cabs,
You would imagine you'd see
the first thing, the British icon is a black cab. That's our heritage.
Now,
We're famous.
can I draw you on with regard to what difference do you think it really makes then at all with regard to personal safety in downtown?
Personal safety,
between Uber and yourself.
We're regulated by the council. We have a CBR check, the most enhanced CBR check in the country. That's the most enhanced.
Yeah.
Uber, you don't know which driver it is, if he's insured, where he's come from, has he got a criminal offence, is he regulated properly?
So you talk about the framework you're talking about though, you rely on the protection of the police here, you would imagine, yeah?
Yeah, the police, they sometimes they move illegal taxis off, but the problem is in the city, on a Friday, Saturday night when it's really busy, we've got taxis coming from different boroughs like West Bridgeford, Gedling, and they all come into our city centre and they all pick up. Now, there's never ever been an incident where a female has caught a taxi, a black cab, where something's gone wrong. There's never ever been an incident in a black cab.
No, right.
Where minicabs, there's been loads of incidents where people have got
Here
raped. Where women have got raped, allegedly got raped, molested, loads of things.
Yeah.
But there's never ever been an incident where a female has caught a hackney carriage black cab and there's been something wrong. We're 100% clean and we're proud of that as well.
Have any of the police ever got in touch with any of the employees here that drive these taxis?
They do.
Wait, let me finish the question. With regard to having flagged you down and commandeered your vehicle, if you like, and asked you to move someone on drunk in downtown Saturday night.
Basically the police want to clear the city centre.
Why are they using you as a bus service?
Yes, they want to clear the city centre early hours in the morning. They want to clear the city centre up. So they want us to take whoever's pissed to go home. But some of the drivers say, look, he or she is too intoxicated, we cannot take you.
Do you imagine that the police have vans for this? Haven't the taxpayers paid for vans for the police to be doing this?
They rather basically shrug them off their shoulders and put them into ours.
Because do you know what that is? That's a transferring of commercial liability.
Yeah, then we
have commercial liability is transferring of that. Did you know that?
We've had certain people where the police have put customers in our cars. As we're going, taking them home, they start to be violent. These people. Now the police shouldn't have put them in our car in the first place.
Because the police hasn't actually taken the details of this individual and they haven't given you their details either.
Can you refuse to take them?
Yes, we can.
And what would happen? What would the police say if you refuse to take them?
Nothing, basically. The police come to you. All right, mate. Can you take? Come on, mate. Come on, please, mate. She wants to go home. She's a bit pissed. She'll be all right. But
so you're taking their word, like
But halfway through the journey, they've got no money. They get violent. They start being sick, and then we've got to deal with that situation. And it's quite hard.
Right, and that's responsibility.
Yeah.
Especially if that person dies because of the intoxication.
That's right.
It could be held liable.
As soon as they enter your cab, you are responsible for that person.
Well, thank you very much indeed.
Right, so we're in a big queue here. Do you have any idea what's going on?
No idea at all. I mean, I've just come. It's fancy seeing you. What a coincidence that was. Just coming on, I was actually going into Loxley House to see about some of the nasty things they do to disabled people. I say my own personal battles. But I was coming along the embankment, and I was wondering why all the taxis were there. Then I discovered why. They apparently, with Unite Union, have also got fed up with not just, should we call it, an arrogant attitude of the council, but actually a violent and aggressive attitude if you question what they've done may be right or wrong. Turns out the disabled people can't get to the station, but the council have made their own rules up. And
that actually sounds like a dictatorship.
It is basically a dictatorship. The only thing's missing is the brown shirts. I mean, they actually rule their own council employees by fear, and if they can get hold of them, like taxi drivers, by licence. So don't do as you're told. So these boys have been very, very naughty by, should we say, that they really want just running around doing the jobs for them, picking people up
No.
from A to B, but they can't do it.
I'm just noticing here, I've noticed that the council claim that they've got no money, and yet for some reason there's a lane closed off here.
Oh well, it's probably to save on the tarmac. Yeah, I mean they do it like crop rotation with roadworks around Nottingham, but most entrances or ways into the city have some roadworks. That's just natural. But this bit, it's taken us down to one lane. I say it's taken me a long time to even get this far, and I hope I'm not late for my appointment at Loxley House. But yes, absolutely stunning. Council has got to the point where it's sort of pretending, it's acting. It's just acting. Making rules up as it goes along. There's even reports of another council has just passed its own legislation saying it's allowed to set up fake Facebook accounts so that it can spy on its people who receive benefits. They've made their own law up about it. They haven't stated, well, we probably won't use it, it's just there in case. But that's the stupid stuff. You go like, these things are not legal, but the council believes it can make up its own laws and its own rules. And as for this one here, it's because they wouldn't listen, because they didn't consult, and because they carried on as though they don't need to deal with general public or the taxi drivers. They have what would be generally called a great big F-up. But we're on our way to see Nick MacDonald, who again on a whim has had another idea. It's not to do with him, he's just the front man, that we should basically pave the whole of Nottingham, therefore eliminating all the traffic and problems with it.
Oh, well, that's an excellent idea, not?
Well, they've already found out by doing Station Street that, you know, it takes people out from the possibility of using it unless they pay money. I mean, not being rude, but you can access anywhere in the city that is barred for anybody driving to as long as you get in one of these disabled access taxis and pay them. I know myself, I've tried to access the city and they will find me and continue to try to find me every time I go into the city, unless I pay this man who's paid for a licence to go into the city. But this plan they've got now even mucks up the ideas that they can help get disabled people in and out of the city, because they paved it.
Talking about Station Street, there seems to have been work going on there for as long as I can remember.
6 years. 6 years continual work. I own the barber shop there, Zero's, next to the Granby Cafe and Super Kitchen. And they started digging up my pavement, literally outside my shop, over 2 years ago. Now it looks like there's some pavement outside my shop, but there's still big holes, fences, barriers, barricades, workmen on the street that was meant to be finished, 1.5 million. But they haven't got any money. But the nicest thing about it is every time I try to pull up there, I'm harassed by the council minions jumping around dressed like police officers, telling me that I'm not allowed to be here and they're going to give me they still think it's a fine unless I move. Therefore, I cannot access the area because I'm disabled. But all plans and all consultations by the council, there aren't any. They actually believe that they are the law. They're making rules up. But we're here to teach them a little bit about this.
Now, I was actually in a meeting concerning with Station Street in the City Council, and the councillors were rather upset because the leader and CEO had decided to go ahead with what they're doing on Station Street without seeking permission from the council.
Yeah, but you see, this is that dictatorship bit. You don't need anything because I'm ultimate authority, which is a dangerous thing. But they bully their staff as though it's a dictatorship. If you step out of line, you are going to be in trouble. But they also bully anybody else who brings this to light. My personal battles with the council have been so amazing that I've got to the point now where I cannot work in the city. They've always made it awkward for disabled people, but they go like, la 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 la, no, we don't need to listen to this. Well, they do, because they can only administrate names or persons if you allow them to do so. So all these taxi drivers have a license saying we will behave ourselves and do as we're told. Otherwise, you'll take our license off you. So at Christmas, this Station Street, remember, it's been closed.
It's pedestrianised now.
Apparently Richard Antcliffe, I mustn't mention that name apparently.
The Asbo guy.
Yeah, Richard Antcliffe, he's expecting me today. I had to check that I wouldn't be beaten up or assaulted or people think I wasn't allowed to go to the council building. He's assured that myself and my companions are safe today. But he apparently had a mysterious phone call on a bank holiday Monday because the tents were on Station Street, that even with the chicanes and the works there, that highways have deemed that it should be opened specifically for that day, and he ordered, mind you, somebody from the highways obviously said it was okay and safe, but he ordered 411 taxis to rank up where the tents were. Closed street. The first 6 drove down there and realised something was a bit iffy, and then they refused and they barricaded the road to make sure no other taxis come up. But that's because you've got the force of law, and then of course they're not following the law. So if the law goes, they're just left with force. And I'm afraid that is a very, very dangerous position. If you try to deal with it, you meet a person like Richard Ancliffe, who is basically paid to lie, and we have him on camera, absolute lying, when you try to explain that if you can really do this to people, you're a slave master. Everybody has a right to say no.
Oh, look, we're just passing the new fire station.
Oh, the girls will like this.
But of course, the council's got no money.
Well, what's happened to the old police station and fire station? Because I wanted to keep quiet about that sale, but you'll find that the council now is not just buying properties using its partners, because they still stay involved, but this idea of changing to pedestrian. The street I'm on, cars still have the drive across it, but it's now a structure. I wouldn't be surprised if, same way as the Market Square is a structure, that it's something to do with possession and land, because the council believes that if it's owned, they can tell you what to do with a piece of land. So they're taking ownership rather than trust.
You mean
for us.
You mean like where they attempted to steal the Market Square?
Oh yes, well they did that successfully, as long as nobody finds out. The Market Square, this is where these type of events would take place, but the council deregistered it from the Mayor Alderman Trust, which was there to make sure it was kept for everybody, safe and sound. And it's a bit heavy on the traffic here. The Mayor Alderman Trust, I would say, and re-registered it, first time registration. It wouldn't actually have gone through if they hadn't shredded the affidavit statements, both from the land registry and of course the council itself, because we'd still be able to view those and you would find out that they were fraudulent, very clearly fraudulent. But when I brought this to their attention, they started threatening and bullying me.
That is criminal.
It is, but they are acting as criminals, and the disadvantage the council's got is it needs to give the illusion it's doing a very good job on all aspects when it actually can't cope. But to tell you that all the money you're paying in for here, we've already spent it, so there isn't anything for the things you wanted, is actually a con, because they believe that while you're in an agreement, until that agreement is finished, i.e. we're looking after and spending your money, you can't come out of that agreement. It's like you are permanently in debt. So as long as they keep spending the money on, should we call it frivolous things, there isn't any money. And they believe by, what would you call that, administration, that they can administrate acts which they create. This is dangerous. The council now creating its own laws and games, and it can remove property and money. They've even, let's just see, there was the 1992 Benefits Act, which says that you couldn't take money out of people's benefits because it was needed for food. Now there's a new Act, 2006, which they're trying to use to say, well actually they can take money, but they can't take food. That is their interpretation of the law, and then they administrate through their own courts, private or otherwise, to tell people that you have now been found guilty of, if necessary, it becomes a criminal offence if you don't pay your fines. But the courts aren't giving out fines, the council is, and you must stick with the illusion that they are all powerful. You must not act like this saying something's wrong, because when you say something's wrong, it brings them into disrepute and they go very, very nasty. These taxi drivers, they're probably being harassed and their taxi rank removed further and further away because they have stopped before and said this is not right. Joyous the occasion when I saw the what should we call it, taxi licence enforcement officer sent down because the taxi had been a bit naughty, and told every single driver that if they stepped out of their cab, they'll be watched. If it's over 5 minutes, they would be fined. You see what I mean? It's going like, they have a licence, so they had to agree to it. You go, they didn't, but they did. And this type of thing, this, you could say selfish action. How? Because it's about disabled people. It's all about disabilities. So they're pointing out that it cannot access the taxi ranks. But more importantly, it's not easier to access taxi rank at all. They're crippling their business by removing the taxi rank from outside the station.
Well, I've been saying for a long while now that we are run by a dictatorship, and it's becoming blatantly obvious to anyone now that we are in an absolute dictatorship.
Well, I think that's becoming your own fault if that does happen. Sorry, I put the air conditioning on. But no, I think it's your fault if you're not awake. The idea of people keep saying you've got to wake up, you've got to wake up. All you've got to wake up to is the fact that some people wish to gain control over you because it's the only way they can administer their policy. But as for men and women, that's not true. They have to work with us. And all this relationship is based on trust. There is no trust. If I trusted the council, everything would have been okay. But everything I've seen from the council so far has been aggressive, negative, arrogant, and divisive, I suppose.
Criminal.
Well, I would like to say criminal, but I've already put papers in, and I'll go through those again to find out who would actually be responsible if any criminal action would happen. Apparently, it's John Collins.
Well, yes.
But he believes.
You mean Councillor Collins?
Oh, yes, sorry. The man acting as a councillor, but he's still a man. So if he's not acting as a man and just a machine, he has no authority. But if he comes against somebody as a man, then a man has the right and ability to deal with him, bringing him harm by taking him to court. But they actually rely on the fact that nobody would ever do that. So let's just deal with a bit of embarrassment.
Well, just before you get on there, we're just about finished now because we're going to turn on Station Street, aren't we?
I'm not allowed to turn on Station Street. No, that's been closed for a very long time. And last time I went down there, I went down the bus lane, which never bus lane, and they fined me then. But I paid it, but they won't acknowledge it because I paid it as a man. Yeah, they cannot accept payments from men, only the persons they administer. As soon as other people realise this, the game is up. You will never have to pay any type of fine, tax or anything else if somebody else is administrating for you, because it's their problem, not yours. And when they take people to court, they don't. They take persons to court. That's all people have got to learn, that you're a man and you have a person, and you can use that person to protect you while others try to claim that it's theirs. That's it. That's all we're doing. Right, as I say, the taxi drivers seem to be turning off here. I say, I'm not allowed. I'm going to have to go right round the building.
No, they're going straight on.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, we'll never get there. Yes, I suppose it's a good way to go round to Loxley House. There's more than one way to get there. I said maybe they're being respectful to the road being closed. But yeah, you can still access Station Street to get to Loxley House, because Loxley House, of course, has a car park. So they're never really going to close out because it's one of their facilities. But just further down the road towards Carrington Street, the part where I'm on, they don't really like people going along there. And the building I'm in, well, I've been forced out now. I have to go. I have to retire for more than one reason. But the main reason is I can't access that building because I have a disability.
And do we know the excuse they're using as to why they blocked this road off?
Well, originally it was a bus lane for 6 weeks while the station was being done. That went completely pear-shaped. But they managed to raise £500,000 in revenue from fines, which of course are all returnable because it was already proved in court and a court case gone through to show that no, they didn't have the right road markings authority to do so. But they need that money. They've stolen it. So they stole off me as well. And they never respond because the maxim in law for them is idiots do, idiots pay. Yeah, idiots do, idiots pay. So I'm trying to say, please don't be an idiot. If someone is justified in what they're doing because you're causing a problem, admit it because you shouldn't be causing a problem, and don't do it again. I don't like the fact that people complain about being harassed when dropping cigarette butts. Don't drop cigarette butts. But knowing how the law works, it is a voluntary situation, which is what they're frightened of. If you find out how limited the council's power is, then they really have lost control. So the shouting, jumping up, screaming, persecution, bullying, and, shall we call it, outright denial of rights, is their only weapon. So once you take that away from them, which is being done today, we'll have a look and see if they actually, calm down, or they get even more violent and aggressive. It's funny how people become violent and aggressive.
Knowing the council and how they work, I would almost guarantee violence and aggression will be the order of the day.
Well, I always try to look on the best side of people, and you've got to understand the people who are organising the violence, aggression and, should we call it, attitude, aren't the ones that are on the main street. This is why so many of the council employees are having a hard time. The number of traffic wardens I know who are so peeved off with the job now, or want to leave, and I believe even the guys who come and lift the vehicles, they just don't want to do it anymore. They just turned everything into revenue. That's just driving around the city. Oh, did you understand that the policy of Nottingham City Council was to discourage driving into the city?
I had heard that, yes.
We can understand that because of the pollution levels and various other things, but their solution is to just ban all cars. But while they're doing that, what they have actually achieved is to make the direction so uncomfortable for you to go anywhere around the city that it causes traffic jams, it causes pollution, and it causes problems. In other words, they will smog you, kill you, to achieve what they want, because obviously we can make the game up as we go.
But also, if you did, I mean, say for instance, you agreed with that crazy policy. Let's just say you agreed with it.
Oh yeah, I do like the idea of having areas where there's less, or even necessary.
So they've obviously, to allow for that, they've made areas just outside the city far more easier for you to park and free, of course.
No, it's spread like a cancer, isn't it? Because as soon as you ban people from coming to one area, they will then look for the nearest area where they can get. So, look, our policy's working. We're now charging people whatever we want because you've agreed that we can make up the rules. And if you try to get round them, flout them by parking somewhere there aren't any restrictions, well, we'll make sure there are. Right, Mr. Salon, I think it's time for you to alight. I shall see you shortly.
Okie dokie.
What a coincidence finding you here.
Yeah. This is what's called people power. Well, as I prefer to call it, human power or men and women power. Well, everyone, not just taxi drivers, everyone has had enough of the corruption going on in the council. They think they can take all our rights from us whenever they like. They can tell us we can't go here, we can't go there. Well, this shows you everyone has had enough of it. The Dictatorship Council is being shown for exactly what it is, a dictatorship. The men and women have had enough, they're standing up, they're not putting up with it anymore. It'll only escalate from here, unless they realise we have the power, not the corrupt councils. Now, if we all come together like these taxi drivers have, we can end this corruption. They rule through fear and by dividing us. We come together like these taxi drivers and we can show them who the real power is. So, well, how's it going so far?
Going good, mate. Bringing a lot of attention to the cause of the taxi drivers, so I see. We've got quite a tailback and police involvement there, as well as we're making ourselves known, just heading to John Collins at Loxley.
You mean Councillor John Collins?
Yes, Councillor John Collins. Go give him the message of the people that he's obviously not listening to.
Yeah, well, he better start listening, otherwise I think it's getting to the point where we might have to be erecting some temporary things to swing things from.
Yes, the way it's heading now, this amount of people on the street for the first part of the action is showing that someone's coming back.
See, the rest of the public agree with it as well. It's not just taxi drivers, everyone in Nottingham has had enough of the corruption in the council.
Do what they want, lord it over us, tell us what to do, not listen to us, don't speak for us, what's the point in them?
Well, I think that anyone here could run it far better than the clowns we've got in charge.
Yeah, definitely. I think my kid would do a better job.
Yeah. And we wouldn't even have to pay him 150 grand a year.
No, he'd be happy with a bag of sweets.
Mind you, they're probably the same as the Police and Crime Commissioner, Paddy Tipping. I was in his office once and he didn't know what his wages were. His PA had to tell him what his actual wages were.
It was that much going in the bank a month, he didn't know.
He doesn't need any of it, does he? We've come to a standstill now. As you can see, traffic backing all the way up, all down to the BBC and then round the corner. And this is coming from, well, I believe the police are even here because they're sick of the corruptness that's going off in that council building.
Right back in there as well.
Better get up the front and see what's going off. I've been saying for a long time, it says people that have the power. This is showing people have the power, not the corrupt council over there. See? Why
they got their blue stuff?
It's terrible when that happens. Hey, that's why they're going to make sure we don't get into the council. Look. Yeah.
Remains on there, yeah?
Absolutely.
Oh, but the lead guy needs total support. So let me
You lot better start listening to us. This is what we can cause when the corrupt Nottingham criminal cartel don't listen to us. We have the power, not them, as this proves.
Nottingham Hackney Carrick are united and once for all are here to defend their trade.
Station Street. Oh, look at that. If you remember last year I said, oh look, they've got scaffolding round it. Well, they've still got scaffolding round it. They've still got holes in the road. £2 million, they can't even finish the paving. That's this corrupt Nottingham criminal cartel. 6 years this has been going on. 6 years. Those criminals in the council either start paying attention, otherwise they're going to be paying with not just their jobs, they're going to prison. We've had enough of the corruption.
How much have they spent on this?
2 million, just this bit.
2 million?
2 million, and they did it without the council's knowledge. I was in a meeting where the councillors were saying, how come you started this, you haven't even got our permission yet? But because they're a dictatorship, you know, the executive body, they think they can do whatever they want. This is men and women saying, you can't do what you want and we've had enough.
2 million on this bit?
Yeah. 2 million. For what? 200 metres? See, even the pensioners are coming out and are having their say because they've had enough of the corruption in Nottingham. And when you piss the pensioners off, you've pissed the wrong lot off. Don't for one second think this is just about taxes. This is about the rest of the corruption that is rife in Nottingham.
That's a smile, you know.
Station Street, Granby Calf, Zero's Barbers, Lush, whatever that is, Hopkins, and not council run Notts TV are here. And there's the den of corruption, where the whole executive branch have got their fingers in every pie possible and are screwing every man, woman and child in the city, and in some cases literally. So 6 years on this part of the street, and it's still a building site. 6 years, and they can't finish one 200-metre stretch right outside the actual den of corruption. The den of evil, dictatorship, corruption, you name it all, they're all in there. To be fair, most of the council staff are good men and women, but those at the top are absolute corrupt criminals. Six years.
And maybe plan another one if it's got to go a second time, and maybe get twice as many people. This is only 300-400
Monday morning, which is not an easy time.
Well, Councillor John Collins, CEO, Ian Courier, everyone's coming to you for your corruption. I hope you come out, but I suspect you're hiding, cowering in your offices upstairs, because that's what sort of corrupt scum we have in Nottingham. Absolute corrupt, low-life scum. Nottingham criminal cartel. And that's probably a bloke that likes sticking boots in cars. Look at this, 6 years on, they can't do anything. Couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. Nottingham criminal cartel, the corrupt city council. You don't come to us, we'll come to you. Criminal cartel, you're going to get more of this, much more. Your critics? Or are you scared? When people stand up, do you run and hide like the little girl that you probably are?
Told you we'd be back.
Thank you.
pretending to have some sort of authority.
Today he has agreed to meet over tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. with the rest of the group, the disabled, the elderly, the blind and the taxi drivers. So we haven't succeeded in our quest. We're going to meet with the Council McDonald tomorrow at 6 p.m. How do we get...
You're not here to stop naughty people. Oh, okay, then carry on.
They're just here to get your car.
My mistake.
Smoke-free car.
Well, I can carry.
The main objective today is to get a meeting with Nottingham City Council along with the other organisations. We've successfully done that. We will meet with them tomorrow and we will let you know what the next action is to take.
That's a court tactic, so we won't be here.
Operation, we'll take you into the apartment now,
I will be. Tomorrow night.
And like any civilised event, food and drinks afterwards.
Debt Free TV, in association with GetOutOfDebtFree.org.